Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how or why, but I'm not arguing. They may not know wheel, but does anyone?
Hi, and welcome to We Don't Know Wheel F1 podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Anne. We're four sisters who fell in love with Formula One and started a podcast to force all of our family and friends to listen to us gab about Formula One. And okay, Grace, you definitely had the harder part for the intro.
We are all doing hard things this week, taking on difficult tasks, because Grace is sick, unfortunately.
Poor Grace.
Yeah,
She's
We have,
resting up. Hopefully, we'll be
yeah,
better soon.
yeah.
honorary sisters here tonight. I'm Jamie.
Shelley.
Producer Shelley with us as always.
Yes. Oh, this is the second to last race. How do we feel? Or I'm not ready.
Honestly, I think I'm ready. I
Oh.
am like
Anne's ready.
Anne's ready. I
I'm
love
fully
it.
in the like holiday mode. I've been listening to Christmas music at school all the time because it makes my students happy.
Mhm.
And I I'm ready to not watch Checo just slowly crumble and it get worse and worse and worse. And I think after Abu Dhabi, it's finally going to be done.
And who would you say is like your second? Like, is
Alex.
that helping you at all? Okay, not Alex.
Mm-hmm.
That's not helping you. Third? Come on.
Who's your favorite driver who won a race this season?
Ooh.
Oscar?
Okay, big
Shelley.
win. Big win for the 81 camp.
Yes. Okay. Loving that. Yeah, I think a few times during the season I've experienced some because Oscar is my number one. So
Mm.
there's been like obviously drama with McLaren anyways, but I there's been like some lows and I can sympathize with Anne of like if your driver there's drama or things are going down that's negative, you're just like, dude, what am I doing here? I'm not gonna watch anymore. I'm done with
But
F1.
it's not even drama, it's just watching him like self-implode.
It's a little more
Yeah.
And
rough.
he doesn't know how to
Yeah.
Yes.
dig himself out.
Which is harder to watch, Danny Rick's slow descent or Sergio Perez?
To me, it's Checo, but I'm very biased in that.
Yeah.
I get how you feel though, because that's what I was thinking. I felt that way with
Yeah.
Danny, where I was
Me
like,
too.
this is kind of
Yeah.
hard to watch now.
It
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Although I've heard Danny Rick's like coming back 2026. Have you guys heard these rumors?
No.
Supposedly in Cadillac?
We kind of said it last pod
That's
that
I
that
think that
Danny,
is
Rick,
the
and Franco.
hopeful wishes of Danny Ricardo fans
could be.
online.
I think he's kind of into retirement. I'm not gonna lie.
I
He
think he
seems to be
was, yeah.
having fun, just going to Bills games and flirting
Mm-hmm.
with Josh Allen and having a great time.
Oof,
Yeah.
that's rough. Yeah.
Also, I spent way too much money on that sample sale. Literally went so hard.
I maybe went back and got a new pair of sweatpants.
Oh,
Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
He's
you
getting
guys are
all our money.
crazy.
I know. I gave
What are
And
you
it's
wearing,
not even
Sarah?
going to Danny.
What are you
But it
wearing?
was
I'm so glad you
Yeah.
asked. I am wearing my Daniel Ricciardo shirt with the puffy green. And I'm also wearing my Zhou Guan Yu. It's hard to see because
Ooh.
it's green on green, but it's got a 2024 bec in honor of his first points of the season on Sunday.
Yes.
And
And
driver of the
driver of the
day.
day.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
yeah.
Yes.
I was really happy
I
for him.
I
Me too.
actually watched the race live for the first time in it feels like months. And I was watching it with Paul, and we both had the same reaction when we saw the like the list of the 3 ranked drivers of the day when there was a few laps left, and there were like 3 laps left to vote. We both were like, oh, Zhou Guanyu. We
That's
both grabbed
awesome.
our phones to vote for him. And then when they actually showed his, I think, percentage at the end, it was like, it had been like 19%, and then it's up to like more than 30%. Because there was definitely a surge of people being like, oh, we have to vote for him.
Oh my gosh. I did
That's so fun.
something borderline, I'm not going to say unethical, but uncouth, maybe. I was like 12 laps in, and then the voter of the day thing was opened. And so I voted very early on in the race.
I didn't even know you could vote that early.
Well, I wasn't watching, I was watching like a delay, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
So I started the race like
Okay.
an hour into the race, you know?
Unhinged.
Unethical.
I know.
Unethical.
So
I
who did you
know.
vote for when
Who
it was
was
that
it?
early?
I voted for Lando because I thought he was having a good race at the time. But once I saw like the end of the race, I was
That's
like, oh,
rough.
I know. I was like, I would have voted very differently had I
Here's
known.
what I will say though, in defense of Lando, he finished
Yeah.
in the points
That's
after
crazy.
It was
being
impressive.
forced to the back of the pack by that insane penalty.
That
I
was
will say, I
crazy.
was hoping that Lando would get stuck somewhere behind Bonus, so it could be double points for
Yeah.
Sauber.
That would have been fun.
Yeah,
So
Bottas is gonna
fun.
finish. What did I see? Something about Jack Doohan racing next week. They were like, Bottas is gonna finish 24th in a 20 driver championship.
Oh
Because
no.
now I think
I
he
think
is
he's
the
in
only
front of Logan
driver.
Sargent now because he finished 11th.
Oh, okay. So, but 24th, maybe not 25th.
There's like such a big
And he raced
graveyard.
every race this season.
Oh.
There's like a huge graveyard of drivers that I'm like
Yes.
shocked.
Yeah.
Okay, you know,
This
there was a
season,
huge
oh.
graveyard of drivers at this race. I just kept thinking,
Yep.
once again, it's a race of attrition. Here we are again. How did we get here?
I know. I can't even remember
Who
all of the
can make
cars
it
that
to the
retired.
final lap? Who can make
Same.
it? Who can hold on?
Oh,
I was
so many things.
Yeah, I was gonna like when I was thinking of what kind of things I wanted to bring up for tonight, I literally was like, so many penalties were given out. I lost track
Mm-hmm.
for so
Should
many
I
silly things.
read a list?
Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be fantastic.
I found it online, but I will read it. Turn 1 incident, Ocon Colapinto, Hulkenberg puncture, Stroll 10-second penalty for collision with Albon, 3 safety cars, Mercedes car not turning, Hamilton false start 5 seconds. Sorry, this is just like happenings.
Yeah.
Lawson 10-second penalty, Albon's mirror falling off. I saw that. It was like he wasn't
I
doing
didn't catch
anything. He
that.
was just driving and it
Yeah.
popped
Crazy.
off.
Oh,
Oh my
Williams.
gosh.
James Sal's getting really creative with the sabotage. That was somebody's funny sabotage this week.
Sainz Hamilton puncture because of the race control incompetence. That's what it says. Perez DNF taking out Hulkenberg in process. Norris 10-second stop and go penalty. We already said was unhinged. Hamilton told to retire but was Hamilton told to retire but was not retiring. That was a sad moment when he was like, I want to retire this car, and they
Well, and
said,
then supposedly later on, the team told him to retire, and he
Yeah.
just stayed out.
That's what I
what's
heard.
happening
Yeah,
there?
it was
Who
weird.
knows?
I mean, he had a
It is
crazy penalty
weird.
too.
He
I
had
think
bad
he-
luck after bad luck after bad luck
I
on
think
this
he's ready
race.
to say goodbye to Mercedes
Oh.
and move on to something new.
This is not a rumor anymore, but this was Ocon's last race for Alpine.
Yeah.
Kind of sad.
Did you guys see and read his whole post?
Mm-mm.
I read parts of it.
It was on Twitter, but it was so long that I knew if I sent it, you'd only see like the beginning of it. And it was so sad because he was saying like he didn't want his time at Alpine to end this way and that he was planning on racing in the last race. Apparently he had a special helmet for it. And he wanted to be able to like say goodbye to the team properly. And yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Yikes.
it was sad. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, Shelley. Was there anything
No.
else on your list?
There was Albon 10-second penalty, and then Russell 5-second penalty for safety car infringement.
That's when I stopped paying attention. Those last two, I didn't even
Oh.
catch because I was
I
like,
didn't either.
my brain
Yeah.
can't hold any more
'Cause
information.
guess what?
I just
It
need
was
the
a
race to
sprint
end.
weekend. It was like
Yes.
freaking
Yeah.
sprint weekend.
Well,
This was
also,
my fourth piece of media. It's so
It's
many
too much.
hours.
So many
It's
hours.
too much.
and the sprint I found until that last second swap between Lando and Oscar to be a very boring sprint. Like there were, I can't think of any passes that happened during that sprint
Well, lap one. Lap one was interesting.
after lap one.
And then
I cannot think of any
boring.
passes that
It was
happened.
really boring with the whole DRS train strategy.
Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't watch.
I kind of thought it was the fun thing was like George and Oscar. Like that was keeping me on my toes.
But
In the
nothing ended up
sense of
happening.
nothing
They didn't
happened,
race.
but
They didn't race.
in the moment, it was like, okay, is George gonna get Oscar because of this whole gap situation with Lando? But at the end, I was confused and then found that I was like, what just happened? They were gonna stay in this order, but then after we found out Lando and Oscar swapped because the last sprint, Oscar had given his position to Lando. So nice little gift that they gave to each other. It was very interesting. Just, I feel like they're always just doing kind of weird stuff. As a fan, I just need them to not like to just
You need
not
them
give
to
us
just not.
anxiety.
Just to
Yes,
chill.
just to be chill. If they're gonna say they're gonna do something, do it, but like also don't like leave it till last minute if you are gonna do something. Basically, that's all I'm asking, but it is the end of the season, so
I do want to congratulate George Russell on Villain of the Week.
number one hater.
I was like, where are you going with this? Yeah,
Hater.
100%.
Because he made a comment about that swap, like how they shouldn't have done it and blah blah blah, and he was like kind of throwing a little fit about it. And it's really wild to see the comments on social media. It's very like, why do you care? Lando was like doing a nice thing for Oscar. Lando's
And
getting
also-
so much love over this.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes. And then the Max thing with the
Yes.
stewards. It's all, I need the drivers to like just take a chill pill when it comes to like being the stewards on the track and like tattling on each other. It gives
Yeah.
me the ick. It's kind of yucky. And it's a really bad look. And then they're all complaining about them and they all do it. And then they complain about others doing it to them. But like you're part of the problem, babe. You know?
I desperately want there to have been a Drive to Survive camera in that stewards meeting where just because
No,
Who says there isn't?
no, there's
A,
not.
a little
they've
like
never shown
recording.
stewards meetings before on Drive to
There's
Survive.
one outside the door.
I'll say
There's
that.
one outside the door.
Yeah,
I want to
maybe
see that
they'll have
confrontation.
It'll be animated.
Oh my gosh. So, okay.
I haven't seen Max react like that, so George must have done something.
Low key, I'm not surprised. I need him to keep it like, light and funny, but like I'm also not surprised by this behavior.
Yeah,
And
it's not shocking.
Not shocking.
So remind me what happened with Max. What did he, because I remember he tattled on Lando, right?
So that was during the race.
That was during the
Okay.
race, yeah. Max essentially noticed during that there was double waved yellow flags
Yeah.
in the section of the racetrack where the mirror was sitting. And Max noticed, oh, Lando got closer to me in that section. He must not have lifted. He told his race engineer, and they looked and said, oh, yeah, in the data, you can see that Lando didn't lift. And then that got reported to the stewards, which is actually like an accepted standard penalty. If you don't lift for double waved yellows, it's a 10-second stop and go. but it's just as rare. And also in that situation, because there wasn't like somebody stopped on track or some other emergency situation, it was just this mirror. I think people reacted to it differently.
Interesting.
Yeah, I will say like the penalty, we're all calling it insane. It's like so harsh, blah, 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 whatever. But I do think you're right. It's like that is the penalty. The penalty should be very severe for not following a safety car order because that is like a super,
Super
super safety
dangerous.
issue. And the drivers have spoken up about that very loudly in the past with like the red flag calls and all of that stuff. So it's like it was kind of a silly one, but then you're like, yeah, they're like kind of setting a precedent. I get it. The Max thing, Max and
Yeah,
George.
Max and George thing. What was
That was
that?
during qualifying. So I think that Max slowed down a bunch and then George was
During
like,
his like cool down lap when they
Mhm.
normally go slow, but George happened to be coming behind him on a fast lap
Okay.
and like slowed down too much for George, and George, yeah, they went to the stewards and George complained and it turned into a one place grid penalty.
I mean, a one place grid penalty feels like the least intense penalty you could get.
Also, I've never seen a one place grid penalty before. I've seen 3, I've seen 5,
They're
but
like, we're gonna drop
one.
you one place and you're actually gonna have a better start because of it. That's actually where you're gonna want to be, Max. I will say people talk a lot about like British favoring with penalties and stuff. Like British drivers get more leniency. And I did not see that this week. I don't know if that's the new race director who's like really trying to like play things really even. But like
I feel like that
Lando
all
got
comes
a
down to
harsh
stewards,
penalty. Okay, sure. I don't know. I don't know.
but
I
I
just
could be
thought I
wrong.
was like, this is interesting. But also like everybody was getting penalties, so it all comes out in the wash.
The one thing
I
I know people are saying, and I kind of agree, was the debris. So
Yeah.
previous to
Yeah.
Lando's penalty, there was already debris out there, and there was no I don't know if it was called for people had asked for the virtual safety car or the actual safety car to come and clean that. The
Mhm.
mirror from the Williams, Alex.
Mhm.
But so
Well,
there's a lot of that conversation too.
it seems crazy because it was like it was intact. It seems like they could have done a virtual safety car or yellow flag in a part of the track and gone out and gotten it. And instead, it was like it got ran over, it caused these punctures, maybe, I don't know. And then it became a whole full safety car for like 5 laps. It just feels like, yeah, it
because
was
they're having to like sweep up the track instead of just literally
exactly.
picking up the one piece of debris, which I heard some commentators say that there like wasn't a gap between cars where if you did the virtual safety car, it would slow down everybody enough so you could get out there and grab it and get back. But it was going to get run over, and this was going to happen unless you did something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Messy,
Crazy.
messy.
Yeah, definitely a new ick unlocked there. You hit the nail on the head, Sarah.
Giving teacher's pet from George Russell himself.
I will
George.
say this, I'm not the biggest George fan, and I continue to not be. But
Poor
that's just me.
George.
I feel like Grace mentioned liking George at one point, but maybe not his character.
Maybe like ironically.
Okay.
I feel like it was easier to cheer for him when he was at Williams.
That's true.
Okay.
Everyone's a villain when they're winning.
Villain
Sarah,
of the
Team
week.
George. No,
I make a point to never cheer for people who are winning.
except Lewis.
He's not winning right now,
When he was
babe.
winning, you definitely were
He won
cheering.
one race. He won one race, and I don't even get one race, okay?
Did he win one yet this season?
He's fun too. That's
Okay. Gosh.
Oh, what is that from,
It's been a long
Sarah?
season.
It's another reference that we don't know.
I know it, and
I don't even know what it's from. I just know
it's
it.
from Parks and Rec. It's Leslie when her and Anne get super drunk and get in that giant fight.
Wow, that's impressive. Impressive knowledge.
Right?
Okay, to go back to one of the first questions that was asked at the beginning of our time together, how do we feel about the ending of the season? I feel like we had a big pause in October, and now it's like boom, 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 like all the races all at once. So like I would have liked like at least like a week off in between. It's just like 3 weekends in a row is a lot.
You would have liked a week off in between.
I mean, I'm important.
I'm busy. I don't have
It's a
time.
lot of television to watch in my bed. The triple
Okay.
headers are kind of crazy, especially this one going from Vegas to
Yes.
Qatar.
Mhm.
And
The
that
time
race
change is
yeah.
insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we didn't hear nearly as much about that this year compared to last year. Which maybe
True.
it's just people were like, oh, this is what we experienced last year. We got to deal with it. Or maybe they like made very strategic plans of how to deal with it better this
I
year.
wonder
I don't
if they
know.
have somebody on the team that like does the time change math to
Yeah.
be like, this is when you go to sleep. Go to sleep at this time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
have that.
Go to
I was
sleep
thinking about that.
go to sleep at 7 a.m. and then you'll be up for practice. And then, like, I feel like you wouldn't even adjust your sleep schedule. You would just, like, be off
Yeah.
Yeah.
for 2
I-
weeks
I'm
because you're
actually
driving at night, right?
yeah. Qatar was at night too, right? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, Qatar was at
Yes.
night and Abu Dhabi's gonna be at night.
Okay, yeah. There's
All
no
3
point in
races.
adjusting to a daytime schedule.
Yeah.
It's
I actually
crazy.
am curious to know like how different the time is between Vegas and Qatar.
It's a lot.
Hmm.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's a lot.
It's just a lot.
It's a lot.
We
It's a
don't know,
lot.
Wheel.
I don't know, Wheel.
This weekend for McLaren was very rough because I mean now it's more exciting now for the last race, right? The constructors is kind
Yes.
of in the air and there's like I think people have done the math, but I basically have seen like if one of the McLaren DNFs, like Ferrari will take the number one
Ferrari still
spot.
also really has to do well.
Oh,
Like they have to finish. Like they need to both be on the podium.
and this is
But they
apparently
could.
a race for
Yeah.
Ferrari. Like this is good for their car this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm fully now like Lando and Oscar, but I also am like I like Ferrari, so I'm in a hard spot. Sorry, Anne. She's like saying goodbye to her driver, and I'm like,
It's
my two top teams.
I know.
I've been saying goodbye for months. I'm fine.
it's an emotional time for us all, I think.
We should hold a little ceremony.
We should
Need
hold
to hold
space for that.
space.
Yeah. Some closing ceremonies.
Well, and I think the rumors now are even stronger that Checo is set to leave, and I don't
Which I
know
mean,
what
we're
to
gonna be
think
losing
about
so
it.
many drivers. Most likely Checo, Colapinto, it sounds like, Zhou Guan Yu,
Bottas.
K-Mag,
Valtteri
Bottas.
Bottas.
So many drivers. And we already lost Danny.
Oh,
And we lost
RIP.
Logan.
The best of
And
us.
Logan. I forgot about Logan.
Wait, okay. Quick side tangent. Did you guys see this one? It was one like podcast interview, and the interviewer was asking Yuki if he could name the like top 4 hottest guys on the grid.
Yes.
And did you see who number 3 was? I think it was
No.
number 3. I think they said Logan Sargent was number 3, or maybe I'm thinking it was Liam Lawson. I'm feeling confused.
Either answer is
Either answer.
insane.
I know, number 3. I was shook to my core.
This weekend, we got to see a little bit of an angry Alonso, which I was like, I'm happy for this. He was mad, and I want to see more of that. I don't know if I feel like with Aston, we just haven't been getting that much coverage from them, aside from like Lance being Lance. And
I am curious when next season starts, how
Mhm.
quickly Adrian Newey is gonna be creating an influence on that team. Because it just seems like they've been floundering ever since like
They signed him.
after the first 7 races of last year. They've been just slowly losing ground and floundering and not really knowing what they're doing. And I'm curious to see if Adrian Newey's gonna be able to step in and be like, oh, you need to do this. Or if it's gonna be like much slower to help them rebuild.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
Fernando's gonna be there on day one, being like, change this, change this. And I'd still like to see him on a podium, like in my day. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So
I want to see him win.
Next
That would be fun.
season.
That would be
Yeah, that
really
would be
fun.
yeah.
fun.
What else?
Did you all
Dina?
see that Zhou put up a picture that most likely had his gift from the Secret Santa exchange of it was this really cute cat stuffed animal.
Oh my
So he
gosh.
finally got a good gift.
Oh, when does that get
Oof.
posted? Have they already posted that? The gift exchange?
No, it's usually after the season for sure.
Well, at least we have that to
And
look forward to.
So true.
it's the little
He
things.
does.
Also, do we think they're gonna do a end of the year photo, team bonding, group bonding dinner,
Driver dinner?
driver dinner?
I hope so.
No. I hope
That would be
so. I
hope.
feel like there's been too much drama between so many people this year that I
The
don't think
lore
it's gonna happen.
of those photos. Who's sitting next to who? The
Yes.
drama that's created from that photo alone can sustain us to at least the new year.
And that was 2 years ago now
And
that happened. And we still reference it.
yeah,
It's canon. It's part of the canon. You could write a doctoral thesis about that photo. And I'm sure somebody on Tumblr has.
and put it to Grace. We'll leave it to Grace to find that one. She's our
Grace.
in-house Tumblr expert. She tumbles.
She tumbles.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I hope we get a new one so we have something to chat about. That and Secret
Mhm.
Santa, always good. I did see Botas's Christmas calendar post go up before Black
Yes.
Friday. So that's exciting.
I also find
Yes.
all of his what's next merch stuff. Like it's very
Hmm.
kind wanting to create almost like a charity for people who have just recently become unemployed, but I find it rather funny that it is when he has just lost his job driving Formula One.
Wait, what's next? I'm out of the loop. Is it
He
just like
he
his post?
technically doesn't have a seat for next year.
Yeah.
And I think he is losing steam. Especially these past few races, he's kind of been in the back, the way
But so
back.
he's recently come out with this merch that says what's next on it.
Oh,
And
okay.
the proceeds are going to this organization that helps people who have recently become unemployed.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
The Finns are like very tongue-in-cheek, I think. Lots of dark humor there. Lots
That
of dark-
tracks.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll catch him in some cycling tours. I love seeing like his cycling content. Carlos too. I love a good. Actually, this is what we have to look forward to. Carlos unleashed on his social media. The 2 months or 3 months of break
Yes.
when Carlos gets back a hold of his social media are some of the like chef kiss moments on any of the drivers' social medias.
And he's going to be unleashed from Ferrari. He can do whatever he wants.
True. Maybe he can come up
True.
with his own merch line. Or does Williams also have the same situation?
No,
No,
'cause
Alex has his
his
own merch.
own.
Come on, Carlos. Let's
That's a
get some
really
merch.
good
Can you
point.
imagine? Grace is gonna be broke. Let's
Some
get a
chili
Carlos
merch.
There's going to be
Yes.
chilies on everything.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I
hope-
do think I love Carlos. I don't think
Think
he has
it's
like
gonna eat.
I don't think
No.
it's gonna eat.
Oh.
He has sort of questionable taste.
Well,
And I
hopefully he
say
gets
that with love.
a good design team. You never
Maybe.
know.
I hope he
Never
gets a good
know.
design team.
One can only hope.
Charles would say the same thing. I'm just saying what Charles would say.
His #1 fan.
Carlos, if you need a designer, if you need a beta tester, I'm available.
100%.
Yeah. I made this merch. If you can see, it's green on green.
It's very chic.
It's subtle.
Classy.
So what race are we going to go to next year, ladies?
I love this question. Let's talk about it.
I have no
Uh-oh.
idea. I have no plans
The
right now.
irony is we're not going to one next year.
What?
We're all broke girls.
What about
I can't even
Austin?
Next
I can't even
year
dream.
is a saving year.
I cannot even dream. We are in a recession. We fully cannot afford to.
I think we could make Austin happen. I
I
really
think
do.
if we go to a
I wish I
town, a
could.
race in a town where we know somebody who lives there,
Yes.
that's the option.
Okay. I was talking to Grace about this. She said we should do Qatar. So
I
course she
don't know
did.
anybody that lives.
I have
In
a friend of
Qatar.
a friend who is from Qatar and has family there. So,
Okay.
and there's a chance. There's
Okay,
a
I'm open.
chance.
I'm open.
So
This is what
that's
I'm booking on. Like, I'm banking that I win a sweepstake, I win a contest, I win the trophy design, and I get some sort of all paid situation to go because otherwise it's not happening for me. And yeah, they're so expensive.
Maybe they'll bring back the Los Angeles Grand
that would be
Prix.
a dream.
I want them to actually do the Chicago one.
Chicago would be wild.
Well, and Paul's brother lives in Chicago.
I
Right.
know hundreds of people that live in Chicago.
Hundreds, she says.
It is available to us.
Incredible.
I did miss Ruth Buscombe Divey, who
Mhm.
wasn't there this weekend, from what I could tell. I didn't see her
Yeah.
anywhere.
Her and Will were both like on their vacation weeks.
And Will. Okay,
Oh,
that makes
vacation.
sense. But it was great to have DC back. You guys know I love David. It was
You on a
fun.
first name basis.
Yes. He came to my town this summer, actually. He came to my town.
That's awesome.
I don't
When
know
you
if
weren't
anybody
actually
saw
there.
there was a Red Bull video that was released a few weeks ago, I think, and they did pictures of the Red Bull car with like a camera from the 18th, 19th century. Very old, black and white, like not quite tintype, but kind of that vibe camera. And those photos were from Minneapolis.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool. It was cool to see the backdrop of the city and the car. So, yeah, David and I are close.
Love that for you.
Well, another race in the books, guys.
Another race in the books.
Yeah.
We'll definitely
One more
have
to
a
go.
lot to do for Netflix this year. I don't,
Oh my gosh.
they've got
I
enough
know.
content.
I think
So
that if I had to guess, I'm going to say the next season of Drive to Survive is going to be like really underwhelming, actually, because I think there was so much action during the season. And then we're going to be like, they left this out, they left that out, they left this out.
Mhm.
Like, they didn't even talk about any of the interesting things. And it's going to be, this is just my prediction. I hope I'm wrong, but I do think like the season was so good that I almost think the show's season is not going to live up to it.
I just want them to lean into the behind the scenes stuff. That's what we want because that's what we
and they
can't
kind of do,
see
don't they?
during season.
Like, I like
They
seeing
do. It's like they're
interviews with
trying to, but then they're like making it up sometimes.
you're not wrong.
I hope they've
yeah.
gotten some good real behind the scenes.
The best one ever was the team principals meeting. They're never ever going to top that.
This meeting. That's so true.
I have it printed out.
Was it Gunther and Benito that they had in a car like driving together?
Yes.
That was one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
see?
A lot of guys
So
in
I
cars
need that.
driving.
Yeah, is Gunther gonna be in this season at all?
I think he will be.
Their two
Sure.
biggest stars are now not even in F1 anymore.
That's so true. I wonder who they're gonna peddle to us.
Well, and are they going to give us another
Not Max.
long
He's
farewell
not
to
there.
Danny?
Yeah, they might have a little maybe like a little black and white photo at an end of an
An
episode.
in
That'd
memoriam.
be so funny.
But yeah, I'm curious to know who they're gonna peddle because no one
Yeah.
is gonna.
I
No
vote
one
Alex.
is like.
No one has the same sort of star power.
No, they're not a star.
Yeah.
Franco?
I think
Franco?
Franco, they might have a little fun moment with him. Oh my gosh, he's crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay,
I gotta go to
Okay.
bed.
Okay.
on to the next race.
On to the next race.
We
Yes, we'll
will see you all
see
after
you.
Abu Dhabi. Thank you all for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends and family to listen, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Bye.